Well, we haven't done a gateway game in a while, so I figure we do Augustus. Or Rise of Augustus, depending on where you're at.
Or as Barry calls it, Gamer Bingo.
Gamer Bingo. So, Jennifer, how do we set up Gamer Bingo?
You put cards here, and then you flip 5 over.
Okay, so we'll start off with 5 objective cards, and then along with that, we will have a couple rows of bonus cards that I like to put in,
Color,
ascending order.
objectives, and number objectives.
The first one here is the color objectives. Okay, they range from 2 to 10, and then we have the objective bonus tiles.
The number of objectives.
Number of objective bonus tiles. They also range from 2 to 10, and we'll get into how they work in a minute. And then we have a bonus for wheat and a bonus for gold. Next thing we're going to do is give each player one of these player aid tiles. It'll tell you how many different
Mobilization tokens.
Tokens are in the bag, and we'll get to that in a minute. And then we're going to give each player 7 of these Legionnaires. Okay? After you have handed out the Legionnaires, place the remaining ones within easy reach of you. You may need them later on.
And I just dealt out 6 cards to each of us. We will look at them and then keep 3, and the other 3 go back in the deck.
Okay.
Okay, so I picked my 3.
Okay, now once we have chosen our 3, we will place them face up in front of us. Now we also have all of these tokens in the game. We're going to place them in the sack. Then we're going to choose who will be the first player, and you set up Rise of Augustus. Okay, Jennifer, how do you play Rise of Augustus, or Augustus, depending on where you are and where you got it from?
Oh, well, you have to complete objective cards to get victory points and win the game.
Okay, and how is that triggered? The end of the game, how's that triggered?
You have to complete 7 objective cards.
Right, when one person completes 7 objective cards, it'll trigger the end of the game, and then you'll add up your score based on victory points, which is on the bottom right corner of the card, or bonus abilities from the cards. There's 2 different types of cards. What are they?
There are territory, I guess, and senators.
Okay, so we have territories here. There's 3 different types of territory cards. There's green, purple, and orange. Neither one of us has one of them now.
No.
And then we have senators, which has this dude on it, or
Yes.
a dude, not necessarily that one in particular.
No, they have different dudes.
Okay. And then the territory cards have this lovely artwork, and we'll get into that in a minute, but you really don't have to pay attention to it.
Unless it's wheat or gold.
Right. So, Jennifer, how does the game work?
Well, one player, we take turns.
Right. Starting with the first player.
Right.
They'll be...
Until they get the Joker, but you'll take turns drawing these tokens out of a bag.
Right. That person's called the town crier.
Town crier. Right. So we have double swords, shield, chariot, catapult, standard, and dagger, and then the Joker. And once the Joker is drawn, we would switch town crier. So if I was town crier first, then you would become town crier. Okay, well, we have this magic bag. And I would go catapult. So then each of us would take one of our little guys and place it on a catapult on one of the cards that we have in front of us. So through the magic of editing, Barry will show you that I have a catapult here. So this would get set aside. And then I would draw another one. Chariot, so I could take this and there's a chariot there until this card is drawn, which is wild. You can put a man, a legion on any space you want. This handy dandy cheat sheet will tell you the quantity of each token that's in the bag. So there's only one dagger. If you're really waiting for a dagger, you might want to use the wild card for that.
Right, the double swords are the most plentiful, the daggers the least.
Yes.
Okay, and then once that wild card or token is drawn,
they all go back in the bag.
Right, the bag is passed to the player on the left, and they become the town crier.
Correct.
Although in this run through, that will not happen. Jen will be the town crier. Okay, so now, as Jen said, we will place our Legion guys on these spots to try and, fill up each symbol. Once that is done, that objective is completed, and then the person will take that objective card and place it face up next to them. When 7 of these objective cards are finished by any one player, it will trigger the end of the game, and then we will add up our victory points, which is on the bottom right of the card, along with any bonuses given by the card, which is in this banner on the top right of the card. Now, while playing the game, if, say, we wanted to finish this card here, okay, and we use up all of our legions in our supply, we could then take it from one card of our choice and place them in that spot to finish
to complete a card.
To complete an objective. And then once that's done, those legion tokens would go back into your supply. Okay, now we start off with 7 of these legions. Throughout the game, there is a possibility to gain more, and that is done by some of these
objective cards.
Bonuses. And we'll get into exactly how they work as we play. It's not that difficult, but it's a little much to explain in one shot. Okay, we'll explain them as they come up. So, once a player has finished their objective and they put it to the side, face up, they will then select one of these new objective cards and place it in their playing area to try and finish that one later on. Once that one is selected, we will replenish it with another one from the top of the draw stack. So what happens if 2 people finish the objective card at the same time?
The person with the lowest number would go first in getting their, if there was anything that they wanted to get up here, or they get to pick from the market first.
Right. Now, as you can see down here is the title of the card, and next to that is a number, and that's the number we will go by to see who would select first and whatnot. If there's a tie in players who finish the objective cards at once. Okay, so Jen also said that player would also select one of these bonus tiles first. What are the bonus tiles, Jennifer?
There is color objectives and number objectives.
And then these 2 over here.
The wheat and gold.
Right.
Bonuses.
So how do the color objectives work?
The first person to collect either 3 senators, 3 green territories, 1 of each, meaning a green, an orange, purple, and a senator, and then the purple territories and the orange territories.
Right. Whoever finished that many objective cards first will automatically take one of these. You could have more than one. Okay. Now these guys here, on the other hand, are a little different. How do they work, Jennifer?
You get to pick those after completing the number of objective cards that's on the top. But you can only have 1 of those. So you might want to hold off until you complete more objective cards.
Right, there's a bit of a push your luck element there. You can say if you finish 2 objectives, you could choose to take this one and you're guaranteed 2 points at the end of the game. If not, you might want to hold off and try and get a higher value tile, but there's a possibility somebody else will take it before you get that. Train. Okay, now we finally have these 2 tiles here, which work similarly. They work exactly like, other than the symbols that you're looking for. As you can see in the background of the territory cards, there's art. Okay, now for the purpose of these bonus tiles, you're going to ignore everything but wheat or gold if some of them cards have it, like this one here. Okay, so here's gold, here's wheat. Okay, now
those can be stolen.
These are temporary, okay, and the way they work is once a player has a majority of this certain type of either gold or wheat, they would get the temporary bonus tile. Okay. Now, if another player ties them with the amount of completed objectives with the gold or wheat on it, that player would then take that bonus tile. Okay, so this will go back and forth to people throughout the game. Whoever has the majority of either gold or wheat will get the bonus tile, and then if there's a tie, whoever initiated the tie would take either the gold or the wheat, depending on which one they initiated the tie on. Okay, so
and then in order to get it back, you have to complete another one, a third.
Right, you had to have either you had to tie them again or have the majority. Okay, now this will go around like we said until one player completes 7 objective cards. At which point, players will add up their victory points through the victory points on the cards or through the bonuses for the cards, along with any of the tiles. Whoever has the most victory points wins the game. And that is how you play Rise of Augustus.